Good morning and welcome to the first and only Gridmaster video. This one's coming out a couple days after Gridmaster has ended, mainly because I've been working on this video for like maybe 5 days and just the amount of clips I have is just crashing my editor nonstop. So if you're seeing this, I somehow figured out how to make it work. I don't know. It's some garbage free program, so it's trying its best, but not working out too well. But yeah, I completed the grid on the first day in about 20 hours and ended up getting 72nd place, which is, it's a pretty good result. It's top 100, but by the standards that I kind of hold myself to for these events, that was definitely a really bad finish. So after that, I was kind of looking for some other way to enjoy the mode and settled pretty quickly on speedrunning. And the first run I did was a run that I submitted to Escape's competition at the time. So he was holding a competition for the fastest run that used no logout tech. And what that means is you can't get any advantage from logging out. So that means you can't get boosted in raids, you can't log out and wait for your fruit tree to grow, stuff like that. So I got an 8:10 on that run, which ended up being the fastest time. So from that, I was able to win 1 bill cash. So shout out Escape for the competition there. Was super fun. And turns out that 1 bill kind of, depending on who you ask, it kind of went to waste. I did spend 47 bonds on accounts for speedrunning over the past couple weeks. And the run you're about to see is the culmination of all those attempts and the fastest run that I got. So I did get a 5:29, which I am pretty sure is the fastest run that was completed. There's no leaderboard or anything, so just kind of word of mouth, but that was the fastest run that I've heard of, so I do believe it was the world record, if you want to call it that. And this run will be using pretty much every strategy that will allow me to get the lowest login time. So what that means is I will be using a lot of those logout methods, as well as an interesting bug that was found with Last Stand. So I'll be explaining that once I unlock it. And yeah, this run was a culmination of a couple of very smart people. It wasn't just me, and I worked together with a couple guys that were also speedrunning. So I want to give a shout out to Rod I, Mazhar, Corun, Payout, and Ricklet. All of them were helping give some useful ideas, and we all shared some stuff and ended up creating a really solid plan. So right now I'm going to go into each individual step. So hope you guys enjoy, and if you're interested in the full run, the video is in the comments, so you can just check that out. And if you're interested in all the little intricate things that go into it, that would probably be a better place to go, since this is going to be going over things pretty much in the high level. So hope you guys enjoy, and here's the run. Starting off, after making our character, we choose the Power Miner relic. You're given the choice between that, Lumberjack, and Animal Wrangler, but the Power Miner is going to be useful for the start, so that is the first one that we pick. Next up, we complete the Stronghold of Security, and once we pick up the boots, we teleport home. Any of the relics that you claim that give you an item, you need to be either by a bank or by the sage, which is why we teleport to home here. Next up, we run to the Gnome Stronghold after teleporting to the patch down south. And when you throw a gnome ball in this area, you get the Sage's Greaves, which give you passive agility XP. And we will be linking agility together with Thieving and Hunter, so our agility will boost those 2 skills. Next up, we teleport to Cast Story, pick up a couple farming supplies for later on, and we'll be heading straight north to the Gemstone Crab. When you witness it burrow away, you get given the Gatherer Scroll, which will be how we're linking our Agility, Slayer, and Thieving together. So as I mentioned, we'll be getting passive XP from the boots, which will also be giving me some small bits of XP towards Thieving and Slayer, which will be useful for the start of the run. And next up, we head south to Mistrock. Drinking a Steamforged brew in the pub will unlock the Bank Heist relic. So that, along with the Ferris Flight, are the 2 teleport relics that we have available in the league. So now we have both those and the Sage's Greaves. After we've unlocked those 3 relics, we teleport straight to the top. And on the screen right now, the larger screen is the account that I'm boosting on. This is my main, and in the background you can kind of see it a little bit, but I am logging in and out pretty frequently in this raid. The strategy for this is you have 3 accounts on the raid, so the one shown is the DPS, so this account is doing the raid by itself, and in the background is the speedrunner. It's going to be picking up the Dawnbringer here and specking with it, and the purpose of that is we get some mage XP, and if we do our 2 specs here in the regular tab and then 2 specs in the hard mode, which we're setting up right now, we will get around 21 magic, which allows us to low alch an item, which will give us another task. And that's typically a task that's done through Golden God, which gives you the ability to alch without a magic level. But by getting that magic level, we'll be able to save some time, and we'll be doing a bit of thieving on a higher XP rate. So that's the purpose of speccing on the alt there. And we'll be finishing our tops here in just a second, then moving straight on to TOA. And here we're doing the last part of the hard mode, so we're speccing twice with the Dawnbringer. After these 2 specs, I do hit 19 magic, which it's not easy to see since it is on the screen in the background, which is covered by the main, but we have our magic level, which we can boost for low alch, and we also get a purple in this raid. So if you do a hard mode, you always guarantee a purple for everyone on the team, regardless of contribution, so that's why we do both the regular and hard mode. And now we're at COA doing primarily the exact same thing. The main is carrying through the raid, and the speedrun account is logging out as soon as possible, just so it gets carried through all the rooms. And once we're done, we'll also be able to claim a purple from the TOA. And the TOA is complete. We teleported to the pest control bank to look at our items, and we're going to be claiming our 2 raid items here. So out of the 3, we're actually not picking the T-bow, and the reason for that is the Shadow and the Scythe can have their runes removed from it, and right now actually we will be taking the runes out of the Shadow and selling them to the general store here for about 3.8 mil. It's a good start for money. People tend to do the Stonemason as a start, but this is just a completely free about 4 mil right off the bat. And with our starting cash, we are going to pick up a hedge for 100k cash here. And as we mentioned before, now that we have our magic level, we can low alch this for over 30k, which unlocks the production prodigy relic, and that will make it so we can get a 7 times XP rate pretty early into thieving, which will boost us from 25 to 50. As I mentioned previously, the agility XP from these boots will also be giving half XP into both Slayer and Thieving, which you can see from the XP drops. So to make use of these boots early on, we'll be doing quite a bit of running around, doing some shopping, doing some easy tasks, so our boots will start juicing up those levels. And right there we picked 3 Cedo foils, which we can clean for the Grimy Herb task, which will unlock the Friendly Forager relic. So starting off on Gridmaster, you're given 100 kudos, and if you talk to the guy upstairs to get 105, it'll put you at the threshold where you get a good bit of mining and crafting XP from the clerk. So we'll be starting off with 32 mining and 29 crafting. And at this point we have passively completed the Vampire Slayer quest, so after killing the count here, we will teleport to Hosidius and start the thieving portion of the run. And in Hosidius we thieve the Baker's Stall to 25. And from the boots earlier, we started at about 19, so we didn't have to do too many levels there. And once we hit 25, we unlock the Dodgy Deals relic, as well as the 200% XP. So now we'll be getting a good boost of XP here as we work towards 50 thieving for the Golden God unlock. And here we steal some valuables, which unlocks Golden God. So we have both our raid items on us, and we'll be going here to buy some hedges to give us a good bit of starting cash. So this is where the Justy and Lightbearer get alched. And since we started with 32 mining, we're able to skip right up to the Iron Rocks. So we mine those until 37, and teleporting to the Tizar area, a +3 boost with the pickaxe will get us to mine a gold ore, and then we head south to buy an onyx. After we mine the gold ore, we can unlock our second scaling relic, which is Lumberjack. And here at Shanty Pass, we'll be buying a bunch of feathers, which we'll be using later for fletching. And then we will be heading straight to Land's End to start the woodcutting portion, which has a bit of an interesting method once we get to the oak logs. And once we hit 15 woodcutting, we go up here to the moss giants. And what we can actually do here is a 6-tick cycle. So instead of doing your 5-tick combat on the moss giants, what you can actually do is in 6 ticks, you can get a skilling action included in that cycle. So it's a good way to knock out both the woodcutting and the moss giant kills. Now, you don't get the good drop rate that you would in the wilderness, but the time that you save from multitasking here makes up for that drop rate loss, and it is very worth doing for the run. And after we get the mossy key, we teleport to the oasis to chop some teak logs. Reason for this is you get a little bit more XP, and also we'll need a couple of these to build the item where we store our cape in the player-owned house for a later task. And after we get 42 woodcutting, we use the axe spec similar to how we did the pickaxe, chop a maple log, and unlock the animal wrangler, which will allow us to get a good head start towards the fishing on the way towards Temperos. And similar to the main game, the best way to get early fishing XP is from the Swan Song quest. And since we just did the woodcutting, we're able to get 30 fire making passively from that, and we can complete the Swan Song quest, which will give us 42 fishing for access to Temperos. With the harpoon from Animal Wrangler, a solo at Temperos takes only just a bit over a minute, and during the kill we got 500 total level for the XP lamp, as well as the Craftsman scroll. After banking for some items for the next bit of combat, we teleport to Ryanasta and go and buy some Crombons. On the way, we are unlocking construction, cooking, and herb lore for our craftsmen, and we'll be using the Crombons we're buying here as an engine to boost our construction and herb lore. Up next, we are doing Scurious, so all we have to do is land 1 bit of damage and then kill it on the main, and by doing this we get 1 combat mastery point, so our mage now does quite a bit more DPS than it did on no combat mastery points. And to further boost our magic DPS, we teleport to the Wizard's Tower to kill a lesser demon, and we unlock the ability to not hit under F5. And next up, we are going to the Ogress Warriors, and killing this one, if we teleport to a bank, we are able to unlock the Combatant Relic. So this is the last of the skill sharing relics, which we're going to be putting towards magic, range, and strength. The reason for that is we are doing an early Yama rush for these accounts, and the magic is useful because we will need 62 to start Yama. And while we're training magic passively from Alking, we'll be getting about 51 strength before we enter. And the range will be useful a bit later because we will be chinning mystics as our engine for combat boosting. And last, we killed Bryophyta for our 2nd combat mastery point. And as well as this, we also unlock the 9 times XP. So we've been holding on to this lamp for a little bit, and we will now be putting it into Hunter to get level 58 right off the bat. We picked up a chef's hat and started cooking some of the Crombons. We're not going to be doing all of these, but rather going to 66 construction and herb lore. And with a plus 12 boost in the herb lore, that gives us the ability to later on complete the bottomless brew task. And while we're here, we cook a shark, which also unlocks the corrupted shark. And continuing to work towards getting the bottomless brew task, you need both a Zamrock monk top and bottom. And this is a good spot to come to, as you can kill the monks while training prayer on one of the best altars in the game, so we get a couple prayer levels as well as the monk robes. As I mentioned before, we start off on 58 Hunter, so we only have to do a couple levels of gray chins here. Then once we get level 61 with a plus 2 boost, we can head towards the red chins, which will be hunting to 73 Hunter. And finishing up our Hunter levels here, we'll be getting 73 Hunter on these red chins. The chins will be useful for us later and we also get the level to bare hand catch a moth for another task. And here we set up a trap here while we go to catch a moth, and the purpose for that is we'll be needing 2 of the Pyre Fox meats to create moth mixes. One moth mix will be the Sunlight Moth, which heals 9 HP, and the Black Warlock is a super strength and a potion, so those are 2 useful items here. And as we had our friendly forager pouch along with us during the hunter, we got a good bit of herbs, so it allows us to complete the bottomless brew task, which makes it so any potion or moth mix that we use is unlimited. And now that we have all of our food and potions and all of our levels, we are able to do our early Yama rush. And the main way we get a drop here is by killing the judges. Killing the 2 of them gives 25% contribution, so every kill is a 1 in 64, and we end up pulling a drop on just 4 KC. This is the normal reset point of the run, so it's always a good feeling to get past this part. And the reason why we did Yama early is there was a bug discovered where if you were to die from your last stand by damage that is delayed and you log out before the damage is applied, then the boosted stats you get from last stand, which is 255 in all of your combats, that lasts pretty much forever. It goes down 1 per minute rather than a couple levels every tick. So right here, I'll be picking nettles here, and once I log out and log back in, I will have a 255 stats. So using this, it saves quite a bit of time throughout the run. In the first place we're putting our stats to use is KQ. Normally this kill would take a couple minutes, just basically recoiling it down, but with our stats we're able to get the kill in no more than 2 minutes with the Dragon Mace. After unlocking the Drygore Blowpipe from the Cowfight Queen kill, we quickly go kill a Shaman, which will unlock Song of the Elves. And naturally, after you get Song of the Elves, the task next is to kill both the regular and corrupted Gauntlet. And the last task in this row, which will unlock a combat mastery, is to do Barrows. So we need to get a Barrows item while wearing one. So at first we get an Aram Staff, which is a awesome item, so all we need to do is lamp up our attack, and then wrap it up with a second Barrows drop. With our 3rd tier of Combat Mastery, now we save a tick on all of our attacks. So throwing chins, what we're doing here on the Mystics, is a 2-tick action, which saves quite a bit of time. And through this, we are doing 100-man Mystics with the primary target being 1 defense. So pretty much every chin lands, which gives us over 50 mil XP an hour at just level 60. And after being logged in for only 7 minutes, we go from 60 to 91 range. And we did throw a couple chins on defensive to get us to 70, which will allow us to use the Rigor Prayer in the future. And since we were in the area, we just boosted a Chambers, and the process was pretty similar to how we did it previously in the TOB and the TOA. So doing this will unlock the Twisted Bow, which once we get tier 5 Combat Mastery will be an extremely useful item. So at this point we've leached all 3 raids, and through the total of the 3 we've probably only been logged in for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, so it is a massive time save to do that. And up next is Forecath. With our 255 stats, it gets taken down no problem. And the reason why we went straight here is we did not get any dragon darts from Yama, so the goal was to get some good darts from Forecath. We didn't end up getting any, but we did get the Warcat's Head on a 28 KC, which is pretty good. Was kind of hoping for a little bit less, but that is okay. And we were able to unlock the Assembler, which saves our darts. And up next, we are working towards our 4th Combat Mastery point, and the next logical step is to do the Fight Caves, which gets done in about 15 minutes with just Steeled Hearts and a T-Bow, so nice and easy with the 255 stats. And during this, we've also been crafting, working towards the 78 for a Fury. And after completing Jad, that unlocks the final Dawn quest, which gives us access to Perilous Moons. So just by killing one of the moons and unlocking the chest, we unlock 11 times XP. At this point, we are on our 4th tier of Combat Mastery, and the 5th one is locked behind a fruit tree. So the best way to get a seed is by killing the mammoths, and we will need to get some construction levels in order to plant this thing. So right after this, we'll be heading to the Myths Guild and starting the 2-tick cooking. And this is why I waited towards the end to do my cooking rather than at the start. So if you note 24 items and keep 1 cooked Corun bond in your inventory, you're able to both note and unnote items in the same tick. So it allows the 24 Corun bonds to be cooked in 2 ticks. So this saves 1 tick per inventory, which is a very solid time save throughout the run compared to doing this just at a fire. And over the last few tasks, we were able to passively craft our emeralds. And at 78, we can create a Fury, enchant it, and this unlocks the Desert Treasure 2 questline. And with the magic logs we got from Vorkath, along with the passive fletching XP we did during some of the other tasks, we can do the Veil Totems task, which is part of a Combat Mastery row and also gives us the Devil's Element. Using some of the logs that we chopped earlier, we're able to make a cape rack and mount the construction cape, which unlocks the spiky aura. And with the 99 construction that we got passively from boosting our cooking, we're able to make a demonic throne, which will unlock the Thunder Khopesh. And the final benefit from our construction is we're able to plant these tall box hedges in our POH, and this is the best way to get early farming levels from level 1. So we're getting about level 40 here, which will allow us to plant our fruit tree, and it will also give us some XP later towards the 2k total task, which is the final task of the run. And I woke up the next morning to do the fruit tree, which is part of the 5th row towards our Combat Mastery, and the last thing we'll need to do is the Slayer Master. And just before we do the Slayer Master task, we're going to do a bit of thieving here. So this is the main reason why for our Gatherer Relic we picked Thieving, Slayer, and Agility. So the XP per hour here is 8 mil in both Slayer and Agility, so this is the best way to train those 2 skills. And there are tiles for both 92 Agility and Slayer on the board, so right now we're going to be getting about 90, and we'll be able to passively get 92 through some other tasks later on. And we're jumping into the Inferno with our 255 stats and some fletching supplies. And once we hit wave 35, we'll be able to claim the Combat Mastery for tier 5, which will make our T-bow go from 4 ticks to 2 ticks. And upcoming here is wave 35, so this will be the first wave that the major spawns. And for some reason, you can't claim the Slayer Master perk, but you can claim the Combat Mastery for some reason. So by doing this, we are going from tier 4 to tier 5, and then we are saving quite a bit of time as our T-bow is now 2 tick. And right after the Inferno, we are headed straight to the Colosseum. And the reason for this is by killing Soul Heredit, we unlock the Specialist Relic. So what that does is it makes our Khopesh go from 50% spec to 20%. And we are going to be relying pretty heavily on the Khopesh for the next couple tasks, so I wanted to knock this out before we do any more PVM. And real quick, this is a task you can pretty much do anytime after you get a T-bow. So you can kill Zora, and before the loot spawns, just equip the blowpipe, and that will complete the task to kill Zora with the blowpipe without even actually using it at all. And up next is Zami, so this is the first spot where we're really making use of the Khopesh specs. As you can see, it gets knocked out in just 2 specs pretty much every time. And we are looking for an item that we can equip for a task. So on this kill, we do end up getting a Staff of the Dead, which is a 75 attack requirement, so we'll just have to do a little bit of training at Huey, which is our next task. But once we equip this, we unlock the last recall, which you'll see we'll be using at Huey as well for quite a bit of DPS. So here we are at Huey Kodal, As you can see, I'm using the fletching supplies mainly. I have 3 alts killing the tail with a Blood Moon set, which destroys it a lot faster than I would be able to with a Khopesh. And then we go back to specking 5 times, hitting the recall, so that gets us back to 100 spec, and on 3kc we get the Huey hides for the task. And the next goal is that we want to unlock the exposure row bonus, and what that does is for our Khopesh specs it gives us 50% chance of doing 50% more damage, so Doom is the last thing to complete before we unlock that ability. And now that we've completed the Huey Codal, we are on tier 6, so our Twisted Bow will never miss. And combined with the 255 stats, it is completely easy to do the Doom. Each wave is like 5 or 6 seconds, so it's super fast. And a couple Khopesh specs here, and the level 8 goes down, which completes the task. And with the exposure relic, we went straight to Vardorvis and got the orbs we need for all the awakened bosses. So after only 27 Vardorvis kills, we complete all the awakened bosses, which unlocks the battle hat. And with the battle hat, we head straight to Araxor. At the time, I was only 91 Slayer, so I bought some beers from Alderaan, which give you +1 Slayer. And since I can unnut them with Banker's Note, it's nice and easy to farm the boss. And after 20kc, we get the drop we need, and we are heading straight to the Hollowed Sepulchre to finish the second to last task of the run, and we are at 5 hours and 12 minutes. And after completing the Awakened bosses and Araxor, we got a lot of Slayer XP from that, and that was giving us half Agility XP, so very passively we're able to get the 92 to complete the Hollowed Sepulchre as our second to last task. And finishing up floor 5 here, once we complete this, we're just able to quick exit here, don't have to loot that chest, and the reward for completing this is all of the achievement diaries. So this unlocks all of the XP lamps, which we'll be abusing to get to 2,000 total for the last task of the run. And finally, we are visiting the museum as the lamps got us 1 level away, and that last level on attack gets us 2,000 total, which completes the board in 5 hours and 29 minutes.